Welcome to week 5. I'm grateful that we're moving forward in this program now. We have moved into a very important segment in the training of parents to work with children. This is the week where we grab onto God's spiritual grace and what he does in a family's life. When a parent and or a child grab onto the grace of God, change takes place more quickly. And so we're going to talk about how we do that this week. Now, some people say, well, why don't you start this in week 1? Well, we do start praying for our children in week 1, but the things that take place in this week empower parents and children to draw upon God's grace and I call them superpowers, the fruit of the spirit, the things that are going to help a child deal with their emotional explosiveness or deal with their focus issues with ADHD or whatever it is. How do we do that? Well, if we don't do this well, then we create problems in children's lives. And so I also want to make sure that the heart is softened a bit before we enter into this. So theologically, I would put this first, but on a practical level, I put it in week 5 because I want parents and children to be most effective at grabbing hold of this and these ideas. So please watch the videos about spiritual training. I think you'll find them helpful. You see, it's not only important to know that God does this or the what, but how. If parents are sending kids off to take a break and say, pray to God and ask forgiveness for what you did, it's not bad, but that's giving them a really negative picture of God because he's just brought in during correction. Or if they're using the scriptures to say you need to go memorize this Bible verse, that's okay. But if we're just using it in correction, then we've got a problem. We want children to see that God's grace is powerful and that he wants to help us be successful in things like homework, managing our emotions, and getting things done. That's God's grace in action. This is a great week for you to be working on it and putting it into practice and teaching your family. Now, some parents are not receptive. You may be dealing with a parent who's not a Christian or a parent who, a teenager who's not interested in spiritual things. So you can only do this as much as you can, but as much as you're able, you are sharing about spiritual things and the power that exists there. We've got some great cases here. I was just looking over them. Cleo's working with a 10-year-old boy. Lakeisha's working with a 4-year-old. Malika is working with a 10-year-old. Christine's working with a 14-year-old. And Brad's working with an 8-year-old, dealing with emotional challenges in electronics. So this is really good, a segment of the population that you have opportunity to interact with and see what's going on. So I hope you'll be asking me questions. I would love to meet with each of you and have you listen while I meet with your client. You would learn so much. So I give that to you as a gift. You don't have to report on it. It's not part of the class, but it will equip you in your training so you can see, watch me in action, watch how this works. I want to help you greatly. To that end, in the announcements, I have also posting a way for us to connect in all our social media sites so that we can have ongoing relationship if you would like to do that with me. So check it out there. I'll continue now over the next few weeks sharing ways that we can connect to be more effective. I want to empower you in your ministry as you go out and serve in ways that'll equip you in parent discipleship. Coaching is just one of those. So let's see what God does here as we continue on and work together.